What crime did you do in Arizona to go to prison?
Um, Armed robbery, aggravated assault, kidnapping,
Damn.
um, attempted murder, discharging a firearm into in a residential setting, discharging a firearm into residential structures, um, theft, burglary, trespassing, criminal damage, everything except rape and things of like minor stuff like you dealing with kids. Like I've committed every crime under the sun except like the funny shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
and when I say funny shit, I mean like when I say funny shit, people that know street shit, they know what I'm talking about. Like you don't do funny shit. You don't hurt kids and you don't fuck with the elderly. You know what I mean? Like you leave them be, they gotta pass. But so I stayed within them parameters, but I pushed the envelope every time I, I did whatever it was I was doing. And you know what I'm saying? Like while I was doing it, the lure of money came fast, and it was shown to me at a young age. And I can tell you what, some of the funnest time I've had was in Flagstaff, like just dicking the shit out the police up there. Like my mom was like, "Why did the police keep messing with you and that boy?" It's like, man, I don't know, mama. We ain't even doing nothing, man. Like we just be just driving around, you know. Like I put it on real thick, and she believe it.
That's
I
what moms
think
do.
I think she would believe it. But see, she works for a company that's pretty profound out of Flagstaff, or actually out of Phoenix, but they got branches up there. What she did was she played softball for Gore with all of the gang task force wives. So I was like a big gossip column. So anytime mom went to a game, I knew that when she came back, I'd have some information, right, on why because mom's gonna bring it up. She's gonna talk about it. And sure enough, as soon as she come in the door, boom. You and that boy selling drugs around here? Watch, they gonna get your ass. You going to prison? Like she's just like, I was like, Mom, I don't know what you're talking about. And probably at the time, I probably had, I don't know, a couple ounces of crack cocaine in the room. Like, I played the part, but I don't think Mom's ever fell for that shit. I think she just kind of, it's something that she told me later on in life. She said, you know what? Regardless of what you tell your kids, life is gonna happen. They're gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do at the end of the day. And when she said that, she was like, she said the moment that I was able to like live comfortably with that, she said I knew that you wasn't gonna do right. She said it didn't matter what I said, you wasn't gonna do right, but I still, nevertheless, kept that in your ear, and you kept fucking up. I don't know how many times I said I ain't gonna do it no more.
Oh, really?
Hips, man, or I promise I ain't gonna go back, man. I've said that shit. Like I don't even say sorry no more. I don't apologize no more neither, cause it ain't worth the shit.
Oh man.
It holds no weight, no value at all. So what I do is I do things not for people to see, but so that I can look in my mirror and see it within myself. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because there's sometimes I look in that mirror and it's like there's nobody there, or why is the mirror so black, right? Just dark. You know what I mean? And I don't know, to kind of have them feelings, it takes you to a place where it's like you kind of encompass everything that you've gone through in life, and you ball it up into a big ass energy ball, and you throw it in somebody's face. Like you never know who that person is gonna be, but you know that you store that much negative energy in you. That shit's got to come out sometime, and when it comes out, my mom calls it. My mom says she calls it blind rage, because I have a tendency of just going black and not remembering shit.
Oh, really?
And I come to and it's like, what the fuck is happening? Where's this blood from on me? Like, why is everything all fucked up in here? And I'd gone on one of my little spells and just that's when the pressure relief valve, it didn't work. It was too much pressure and it just blew the bottom of the fucking tank out and it shot through the roof. Uh, the old water heater analogy, like that's a lot of force, man, to shoot it like a rocket, you know. But I don't know. In my writings and my poems and stuff, I use the metaphor of a bomb, right? I don't know if many people have really looked at like the force of what bombs can do, right? Just any kind of just a bomb. When you say bomb, people get scared when they hear the word bomb, right? Um, I think that there's a lot of people that really know the power. I mean, listen, man. At 13 and 14 years old, I had pineapple grenades that I was getting from these prices, man, for $50 a piece.
No
Like,
shit.
I've had crates of pineapple grenades, and it was like, where in the fuck? Or, I was like, I've seen this shit on TV. I know this shit's gonna be loud as a motherfucker. And it's like, we can't go to where we go shoot the guns at because it's too close. For this shit, I'm like, man, fuck. I was scared, bro. I'm no bullshit. And I've never been afraid about anything dealing with munitions or explosives, anything. That was always like a draw. I was always attracted to that shit. You know, RPG sevens. I've actually held those, like held on, like put it on my shoulder and everything. Like that's a surface to air missile. The only reason why I know that is because I've held it. right? I can't speak on nothing that I don't know because I'm ignorant to that, right? Until it's taught to me or I learn it. But I that's my addiction, right? Like people say, well, this is what's wrong. No, what's wrong with me is like I like the power that having a big ass thumper in your car. And I'm not looking for trouble, but it's like I dare you to. It's an I dare you on the back of my car, like, and everybody can see it. It's like I dare you, or like people make a lot of idle threats. You know, I've done a lot of dirtbag shit to people from the neighborhood, you know, hood shit, to just every day, like, fuck you, I'll take your shit if I want to take it, right? And you can drink that soup or catch me in the street. Like, I'm a concrete baby. We come from the turf, so we can get in the street, right? I'm old school. I'll still let a motherfucker, if you want to chunk them, let's go, right? But then if you want to get on that funny shit, like, I'll send somebody to go do that for me. I ain't got to do it no more. You feel me? So, I don't know. And that stature that's gained, it's nothing. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, I can sit and joke about it because I know that, like, there's 3 of my homies right now that are in Phoenix, and we stay in touch with each other. And when they call, I dread picking it up. But that's an obligation that I'll have till death. That obligation is stronger than any family contractual obligation ever. Because I've spent more time with my gang family than my real family.
Oh, okay.
Than any of my family. Yeah, because
are they still gangster in it, or are they?
No, because
they're trying to clean up too.
I don't know. It's a stigma, right? Like I sat in the penitentiary after doing all them fucking years, and I said, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing. You know, it's all this shit. It's all word. It's all mouth candy. You know, it all sounds good, but at the end of the day, when the shit is in you to just be a fucking hardhead and just buck the system, even when you don't have to, like, I'm the one that's gonna do it. I'm gonna do it just to start a fucking hornet's nest.
Yeah.
Right? It's too quiet. There's no dirt in the fucking yard. I can't dirt roll nobody, right? Well, let me create some. You know what I mean? And that, I don't know where it comes from. I honestly feel, and listen, I'm no doctor or nothing, but I'm self-educated. I dropped out of school in the 7th grade, went to an alternative school, purposely got kicked out of there, right? And then I could not go to any unified school anywhere. Not in Flagstaff, not in California. Like, there was nothing. Like, my next best thing was on the computer, you know, and I didn't know shit about no damn computer, so that was another crutch for me to lean on and say, fuck school. I gotta count money, and that's what I did. Me and a really good friend of mine, she knows, and we drive out there to her motherfucking house in a lowrider that you couldn't stick 2 fingers up under the car, and it's like bam, 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 like, oh goddamn, what the fuck? Just park, man, just stop right here, just park, and we'll walk the rest of the way. And that's what we would do, you know, just to go hang out with my old buddy. I'm not naming names, but I don't know. I've lived a pretty awesome life, right? Somebody explained it to me like this. They're like, you're absolutely a soldier, right? But the soldier and the war that you're going to fight is not a fight that is of this world, right? But you're also drawn between the two, the good and the evil. You're splitting that divide, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times, like, the dark side is I'm more comfortable there. Why? Because I've lived in it, right? So I want to kind of like change the dynamic of that, you know? I find myself like just thinking and saying shit and like driving down the street, nobody in my car, there's nobody ever in my car. Like, ever. That's a 1-seater. You just can't tell. But I find myself smiling and, you know, like I just be riding and I just bust a big ass grin and like, hell yeah, fool, look, you out here, you know, and you making it. And, you know, there's always gonna be like opposition from the adversary. Whatever you consider that adversary, if you can name it, you can tame it. That's what my psych doctor told me. So yeah, I'm hanging on to little shit like that because it makes sense, right? I can remember a time when it never made any fucking sense, and it's like Charlie Brown's mom was always talking to me and shit, like, shut the fuck up, it's just making noise, right? Just wah wah wah, like, yeah, whatever.
So now, were you like, when you went to state prison, how old were you?
I was 18 years old.
And when did you get out?
When I was 26.
Oh, okay. And that was for the robbing and all that?
Yep. I mean, you can pretty much take any crime that I committed and like just match it. I stay within a set. So I'm a habitual offender, a violent habitual offender. They got this team called Ghost. It's a Ghost unit. Ghost is an acronym for Gang Habitual Offender something team. I can't remember what the S stands for. But yeah, I got pulled over by these dudes one night, man, and I was on my 20-year anniversary with my wife at the time, and we were coming back from Sedona, and we went to this QT, and I know it's a big spot for police, but like I'm super flamboyant, like I'm legit, fool, and I still got 2 ounces of work and a pistol in the car, but you're not gonna know it. I'm not gonna show it outwardly. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna act natural. That's why I tell people, act natural, right? Because if you act natural, like you're good. Once you start acting unnatural, that's what they look for. That's what they're trained to look for, right? The real giddy person, like, is he like super paranoid? You know what? I walked just here recently. I walked by like 3 cops with a pistol in the small of my back, and it's like what I was doing. I was being testy. I was wanting one of them to say something, and those are the type of games that I play. And I know it's not great, but when I make it through that door at the end of the road, right, and I say, I just walked by these freaking cops with a fucking pistol in my back and they ain't even budge, right? Like Rigo calls it playing tag with Satan. That's what he calls it.
Yeah, because if you get caught with a pistol, I mean,
I'm not gonna get caught with a pistol.
Yeah. Now you did get into a shootout with the cops once, didn't you?
Yep. I had This is a crazy story, man. Like this story, there's so many like, not if what's the opposite of what a red flag would be? A blue flag? Okay, crippin', cuz. So all these blue flags were popping up, like good things. And it's like, man, pay attention. Listen to what people are saying. And my wife at the time, she says, hey, man, don't mess with that chick over there because she's a sack chaser, right? For all the people that don't know what a sack chaser is you have a drug dealer, he's the D man, right? The D boy, whatever. There's always gonna be a groupie that wants to go sit up under the D boy because he's got the money and he's got this, that, you know, so on and so forth. So
well, she wants her drugs for free.
She wants her drugs for free. Not really. Sack chasers, they do things that, you know, it's pretty degrading what some would do when there's drugs involved, when it has taken control of them and they put themselves out there, you know, pawing, tricking, whatever, you know what I mean? They do it. I don't know, where was we at? I lose track a lot of times because wormholes pop up and they snatch the shit right out of my mind.
You were talking about your wife and saying a sack chaser or whatever.
Okay, so she says, don't mess with that girl over there across the street. I said, okay, cool. Unbeknownst to her that I had already peeped the situation. I seen her walk up and down them stairs carrying a baby in a little cradle. And at the time, you know, I got 4 babies, man. And no, I got 5. No, Alonzo was born too. So I got all of my babies, and they're all babies. Like, when
how old is your oldest?
Well, right now my oldest, he'll be 21 in August, but he was almost 5, and my youngest was 4 months old.
When you went in?
Yeah.
Damn.
So I had, from the ages of almost 5 to 4 months old, I had 6 kids.
Damn.
Three of them were not mine, but I wasn't gonna treat them like they weren't. I was gonna treat them like they were my child because their fathers didn't, you know, they couldn't cut, you know, make the cut, whatever. I made a promise to myself a long time ago that, based on the way that my dad treated me and my brothers and my brother and my sister, that I would let nothing stop me from having a relationship with my kids. So even if those kids weren't mine, I was like, I still made it a point to like get them, like when I had to tell my 2 daughters that I wasn't their biological father, that shit tore my heart out of my chest because they were like, what? Right? But it was fucked up. That's another story. But I had to do that to save my own name, right? To save my own self. Like this woman was just trashing me, and she would never tell my daughters that, yeah, I was a whore. You know, I slept around. You know, I did a lot of flat backing, you know, when your dad was in the penitentiary. Like, you could have just kept it 100. That's all I was asking for, right?
Yeah.
And she couldn't. So, and she kept, like, the shit kept making me look bad. You know, the kids, they've been with their mom this whole time. You know, they would come down and visit and shit like that, but it's hard, but especially when they drive a wedge, or they attempt to drive a wedge, or they put dirt on you. Like, that'd make me, like, seeing, like, 3 bitches over there and just slap you all over your fucking face 1,000 times. Like, hold her. You hold her, you slap the shit out of her 10 times and then switch, right? Like, just run that cycle a few times. And I'm gonna sit there and talk to her. That way it's like like torture almost, you know? Waterboarding, except with slaps to the face.
Now, how long were you out of prison from 26?
Okay, I violated, right? This is 2002. I get out, I violate within 90 days.
Like having a gun
smoking
on
weed.
You?
No, smoking weed. Dirty way. So they was like, all right, you gotta turn yourself in as warrant out for your arrest. And I was like, fuck you, punk. My number's finna kill. I'm finna kill my number, so you can't do shit. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is
Let's kill your number.
like because you're still a ward of the state as long as your DLC number is active.
Oh, okay. On parole.
On parole. So I'm like, I'm gonna just stay on the run until like a day before my number dies, and I'm gonna go turn myself in. That way, I'm sitting there for a day. Wrong answer. Absconsion time. That's what they call it. The day that the warrant for your arrest is placed, everything stops. Boop. So right now I have 14 months left on parole still.
On this time?
Yeah.
But when you were in your 20s, you just said, screw it, and you went on the run?
Yeah, because I only had like 9 months. I came home with 27 months of parole, right? After doing 14 or 15 years. Like, do the math. Like, shit don't add up.
Yeah.
Right? But they got all the wordplay to, make it sound right and shit, But I don't know, you get caught in that web, man, like, it's hard to get out of it. For people like me, because, like, I've had a hatred for if you wore a badge, if any of you wore a badge, if you were a security guard, I would give you the hardest fucking time. We would not be friends. Like, that's just the way my mind was constructed. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, fuck the police, like, all the time. And I don't even know where it came from. Like, I don't even know if...
Just listening to rap music?
No, because like, our influence wasn't... Like, my influence to the music was more about beats. See, Sibo, Brother Lynch, T Nutty, Mr. Doctor, Coleon, Mr. Doctor's a bitch anyway. Looney Coleon, all the homies from the 4, all the homies from the 9. Like the 9, that's my hood that I rep, and that's one of the most reputable hoods in the city of Sacramento. And you're not gonna walk through the penitentiary all these years with cats that's from, like, these dudes are reputable out there, and they're ending up in the penitentiary out here. So their welcome is like a table like this with just here, you get they call them like care packages, whatever, just from the people. Like, everybody don't get it, right? Like, if you went to the penitentiary, it ain't gonna be nobody there to say, here man, here's you a starter kit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get none of that shit, right? But when they see me coming through the gate, it's like, there go cuz right there. They know that I'm already coming, right?
Yeah.
They get a hold of the paperwork just like the police do, right? It's an intricate network of a bunch of foul shit. But they see me coming through the yard, and I stand up there, and it's like, boom, boom, boom. I see homies just pushing up, do. It's like, okay, that's Lil Diddy Low, that's Deuces. You know what I'm saying? It's like all these dudes I know. It's like, cuz, where your shit at? And everybody's a Crip. So I'm an OG Crip. So it's mandatory that they show their respect. I won't carry nothing to my house. When we get there, I'm not gonna clean up nothing. Like, all that shit is gonna be already done. You know what I mean? So it's like, cause everybody, like, I'm not one of the ones, but I once was one of the ones that when they give you your shit, that's all you got, right? Mm-hmm. One roll of toilet paper a week, single ply.
Oh.
Yeah.
You better shit before you gotta take a shower.
Yeah. Or just eat real small portions. You ain't gotta eat all your food. You gonna be hungry as a motherfucker anyway. Yeah. I mean, they give you child-sized portions of food, right? And oh my God, there's been more shit started in the penitentiary over food, servings, tape than anything. I promise you. And it's fucked up when you're in the kitchen and there's 60 people in the kitchen, right? Blacks make up the least percentage of people anywhere in the penitentiary, right? And it's always everybody against the blacks, always. I'm talking about everybody. That means whites, the Mexicans, the Paisas, the others, the natives. Like, I will always know the numbers, right? And it's like, okay, it's 1,000 people here. We make up roughly 10, maybe 12% of the population, right? So I'm like, it's maybe 98, 97 brothers here, and the rest is all everybody else that wants to fuck you up. That feeling, right? Towards the end of my career in the penitentiary, I got tired, man. And I was like, you know what, you motherfuckers want to set this shit off, let's go. So I'm like, I'm frontlining every time, right? It just came up because I was like, you know what, to have the switch, excuse me, like the switch right here, when I turn that switch on, right, that's the wordplay that I use. I say, I'm going to turn the switch on because it's not going to come off, right, until somebody's fucked up or I'm fucked up, one of the two. It's like, you can only do to me what I can do to you, but who's going to get there faster? I bet you I get there before you do, right? So everybody's in their quadrants, right? We always find a place where we can put our backs to that's like a V, like this. And there's always buildings set in a 90-degree angle somewhere. You just have to find the right place, right? So it gives us a cover on our back, right? So that we can't be flanked.
Yeah.
They have to come in. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about that is like, there's a feeling, that fight or flight feeling, that until you felt it and been in that situation where it's like, this is your life or it's my life, right? I tell you what, I just say, I've always said like a prayer beforehand, before I go in there and get into a fight, before we on a standoff situation and it's gonna be a riot. Any of that, I say, God, just give me the strength. That's it.
Now, was there ever a time where you thought you could have died in prison?
Absolutely. More than one time, because you're always outnumbered. There's always at max, like, it's gonna be 15-1. Listen, man, we wrestled around with these youngsters, me and my buddy Thug, and we were bullies to these youngsters. But what we did is we kept them on their toes. You know what I mean? Like, if you got caught in your house in the daytime with your shoes off, guess what? We're finna come in there and lump your ass up. Your ass is gonna be sore from the dead legs that you ever sock somebody in their ass and give them a dead leg? That shit would lock down your whole leg. They use birthday whoopings too, same punishment. But when you
now these are the little black kids, or
like this is just within your boundaries, right? So for us it was like some little youngsters, little brothers and shit, you know, and hard heads, right? But I can relate them to like so many of my relatives that was hard heads. Me and Reed used to beat on their ass too, you know. And it's like, okay, what you doing in here, bro? Laid up in the bed and shit. What's happening? Like we were what in Islam is called sharifs. We were security, right? Like we were the bulldogs that kept these little pups on their toes, right? Because a lot of these dudes, these youngsters, they had never gone through anything. This is their first time in the penitentiary, right? Mm-hmm. And they come from pretty good backgrounds, so you start to separate the civilians from the inmates, right? The inmates from the convicts. Like you have to be able to separate everybody. Right.
Now, are you a convict or are you an inmate?
I'm not a convict because my parole officer told me to stop thinking that I'm a convict, so I'm not locked up anymore. But fuck her, she don't know what she's talking about. You go sit in the penitentiary and see what that shit does to your head, and you talk about. Here's my thing, like I don't trust.
Yeah.
Like I don't trust fucking nobody, and I'm always gonna make sure that I got my own back. You know what I mean? Like, not in this setting.
You got an escape plan.
Yeah, I got to have an escape plan. And that's like the demons that you live with from the dirt that I done did. Like, I've done a lot of dirt, man. Like, I should be buried up under a penitentiary somewhere.
But you're not, you know.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, that's the fortunate aspect of all of this is that, why the fuck am I still here? There's a reason for it.
Now, do you believe in God?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, absolutely. Did you get religion in prison, or?
Nope. I got it from my mama.
Oh, your mama.
Yep. She made us go. We would just like to go for the potlucks. We knew we were gonna be able to bust a little spread afterward, you know. We wouldn't have to eat crackers and cheese or.
So once a week you got a free meal.
Well, it really wasn't even once a week because they didn't do them every Sunday. It had to be something special a lot of the times, you know. We went to a lot of old Baptist churches, you know, so they were like real stingy, like. You know, they stingy. I'm gonna call it like it is, man. They stingy. But like, I would go just for the sake of going and getting some home cooked food. Mm-hmm. You know, because that is priceless, man.
Now, what do you want to do now with your life? Now that you're out, you're almost off paper. Now, what are you gonna say to kids? And are you gonna try to outreach kids?
I linked up with the guy, and there's so many twists and turns to this one. I'm gonna tell you. I linked up with a dude who was he was Laeme. He was puro
Mexican mafia.
Like he was in a position of very high standing. So like my 5-star general my stars here, right, represent that I'm a street marine. He had his too, right? But his came in the form of a crime that he committed that elevated his rank. Ooh. And it's different for different cultures. But when I seen him, the first time I seen him, it took us a few days before we communicated with each other, right? And he finally put me up. He says, hey, bro, let me talk to you. Like, super respectful, and I can tell just by how he spoke, I knew where he was from. The moment I saw him, I knew where he was from because you scan a person's body. That's what you learn to do, right? Kind of like the same thing the police do, right? If they're looking for a suspect that has something that's armed, right? They're going to scan you head to toe, and they're going to know what bulges what. Well, I do the same thing, but with tattoos. I'm going to scan your body, and I'm going to read all the things that are important for me to read, right? You're going to have your filler. You're going to have a pretty broad here or a rose here, but there's shit inside the tattoos that are hidden for the sake of people that don't know how to read tattoos.
Yeah.
Right? And
now, did you get most of your tattoos in prison?
Yep. I think I got maybe 3. David, was it David or Raymond? One of the two, Bohorquez brothers from Flagstaff. He was way older than me, and I was like, man, I want to get tattoos. I was on my rebellious mode, I'm still riding around on a bike and shit. I had just pierced my ear, I was playing Pop Warner football and shit like that. I had just pierced my ears. I thought I was the shit, man. And I seen this guy, and I was like, hey, what's up, man? I think I used to buy weed from him or something. It was something that, the reason why I dealt with him. But I think it was maybe some weed. Or maybe he was buying crack from me at the time. I don't know, man, because I was selling crack, cocaine, and yeah.
Now, what's the tattoo on your chin?
It says True Blue.
True Blue?
Yeah.
So that's your Crip thing?
Well, that's what I like about that, is that most people are gonna already say that. Oh, you did that because you were Crip, and it's like, go look up the definition of the fucking words, you idiot, right? And like, you would think just True Blue that it just means one thing, right? It's got to be some gang related shit. That's what, when I seen it, I was like, damn, that's in a dictionary. What the fuck is that, right? Like, I'm a dictionary buff. Like, I'll crack the dictionary and I'll try to memorize as many words and definitions as I can. Like, that's how I educated myself, But I ran across the word and I was like, extremely loyal, like staunch, like set in one's own ways. Like, you're not gonna be able to change my mind about any fucking thing as long as I feel that it's right. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But extremely loyal, right? And I was like, God damn, that's sick as fuck, right? I'm thinking about all these attributes that this carries, that this statement here, or these words carry, and it's like, that's me, 100%. Unwavering in one's beliefs. That's what part of the dictionary definition is. Unwavering in one's beliefs. Like, what does that mean? Like, I'm like a fucking mountain. You ain't gonna move me. You know what I'm saying? Like, once I get my mind set on doing something, like, that's what it's gonna be. And like, the sad part of that is, I've dedicated a lot of my life to, like, going full tilt, right? Like, once I got a pistol, like, you're not gonna convince me to do anything other than what I got that pistol for in the first fucking place. By the way, I sold my gun.
Oh, good for you. Now, is that just so you can, when you talk to these kids and stuff, or?
Well, I look at
We'll get back to the Mexican dude. That you. No, is he?
Okay, so
does outreach?
He was trying to start a program that is designed for new recruits into the MA. So once you fall under that umbrella, this is your regimen right here. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna go to this group, and it's pretty much set up like a 12-step program. Mm-hmm. You got your laws and your bylaws, you got your prayers. But here was my thing. Like, he pulled me in. He was like, bro, he said, as soon as you got here, my bad, damn, I was loud. Like, as soon as you step foot on here, this is when I was in MRC treatment. And I peeped him, but I'm like, you can't go hard as me, fool. Like, I know you from Cali, just see the LA, and it's North Cali on mine, Northern Cali, South Sac, you know what I'm saying? And I got the state of California on my body like 3 times, I think. And what's written in the words of the state, I got on the back of my legs, on my calves, it's got the state of California on both sides, about the length of my calf, and one says gang and the other one says land. Like, you can't tell me shit about no gang if you in the state of Arizona and you grew up here, and you know what I'm saying, like, because you're still 15 years delinquent, right? Like, you're on a slow train, and I think that motherfucker might have like busted a couple bitches and you went back and started over again, like, mm-hmm. I can't really say that in a kind way, right? Like, because I don't want to be disrespectful to another state, but I'm like, Arizona slow as a motherfucker. They don't know nothing about gangbanging, right? So a guy asked me one time, he says, hey, this was after getting out of my first bid. He said, hey, man, come through the hood, man. We can barbecue or something. And I looked at him, I'm like,
what hood?
I looked at him, no, not even that. There's protocol, right? You got to get your OG's permission to have somebody else that's not from your hood to step foot on your hood project. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do. If I brought you guys back to Sacramento right now, we went to the projects on 29th Street and Flooring Road, and I just say, yeah, these guys is with me. Even with my ranking, you know what, I missed protocol. I didn't go to my proper means of people and say, hey, I need a hood pass for these 2 cats. They're going to be with me. All right, cuz, you keep them in the car, but you don't be, you know what I'm saying, out of bounds anywhere, anything like that. Like, it's strict protocol. So when the dude said, hey, yeah, come through when you get out, and I'm like, hold on a minute, that's not how that works. So instantly I'm thinking, these fools trying to have me set up and kill. So I'm going to get you before you get me. So I get out. 2002, my baby mama, Letitia Burks, rest in peace. She's staying in the Marco Deniza Projects, 3rd Avenue in Pima, right in the heart of West Side City, 10th Ave, Boot Hill Crip, bunch of faggots. my cousin Pot, gave them fools the business and took life from one of their partners, and that shit bleeded back on me because I was there that night. And I run into a situation in the penitentiary where Dad put a green light hit out on me.
Oh, for what?
Because it was this dude, his name is June. And June was there the night my cousin Pot shot they OG in the face over a dice game. So when Pot shot him, boom, like there's like 6 of these fools, and all of them got guns, and they're just like, they're chicken shit. Like all 6 of those dudes would jump one dude, right? I've seen a Rat Pack dudes in the penitentiary. They'll send like 25 dudes on one dude, and it's like, what the fuck that's chicken shit, right? Mm-hmm. Like nobody has a chance at that. You don't have a chance with 5. You know what I'm saying? Like get a dude a chance, see what he's made of. Like send 3, right? Because when I catch the little homies playing and shit, and I catch one of the homies from West Coast 30's Crip at the Dago, and Denver Lane Bloods right out of LA, and they sitting there playing with the Crip and Blood, and I'm sitting there, I'm in earshot of the conversation, and one cat is asking the other, right, what does Crip mean? Like what does that stand for? Like they want the acronym, but he's asking somebody that would disrespect that, so why would you even play with that? Yeah. Right? So I catch earshot of it, and I'm like, I pulled up, I'm like, so y'all just gonna sit out here and make mockery of the land and do this dumbass shit? Get y'all ass up in this run. Come on, run these fades, right? So I go in there, and one at a time, I run the fade with both of them. Beep, beep, beep. It's like I'm not trying to knock their teeth out. It's tough love on the level of your mouth is gonna be bleeding, but I'm gonna try not to knock your teeth out. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have that dial set on my, on
your punches.
I don't know how to hit soft. I'm heavy-handed. You know what I mean? So every time I hit, your face is gonna split open. So it's like, I got the other homies, they're like, come on, cuz, you're doing too much. Shut the fuck up and you can be next, right? Because I'm teaching the lesson, right? So in California, our politics state that we don't pay no bills, right? And if you fall into some shit, you're going to get air vac off that motherfucker. You'll be dead or within inches of your life being dead, and you have to stand on that shit, because the moment you stop standing on it and you fall weak on your guard or your structure or whatever brand that you want to keep positive, once it starts to get tarnished, then you're next, right? It's a dog eat dog world for real.
Now you went on the run for 2 years.
2 years out here from the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force.
Was that because you didn't? Because they said, hey, you're on.
No, what brought that was I put a fool in his trunk and I attempted to kill him, but I was unsure. I was like, don't do it. The cameras. You don't know what the cameras saw at the Bank of America on Milton Road in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Oh, so you robbed the bank?
No, I held a guy at ransom, before ransom, and he went up in there and got my money out the bank and came back.
Why did he come back to the car?
Because I had fabricated a bunch of stories that I had his other family members, held hostage and shit. It's people will tell you everything about themselves without even realize it when you have them scared enough. You know what I mean? Like fear does things to people, man, that it's pretty fucking crazy. I mean, to piss, throw up, and shit on yourself all at the same time out of being afraid. Yeah. Like, I know, but I understand it, because when I shot at those police, my bowels started to go. I started to piss on myself.
Oh, really?
And it was almost like this was going to be the end. And they say that before you die, your body releases this. You know what I'm saying? So I felt that, but I didn't shit, though. So I was like, damn, that wasn't it. I just got scared and pissed on myself, right? I mean, that's what I summed it up to, but I don't really know. But I was like, I felt like it was going to be it. Like, this is it.
So you were on the run for 2 years?
2 years, man.
You never left the state of Arizona?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I went back to California for a little while, but I couldn't stay, because if I stayed, I was going to end up with a fucking life sentence somewhere for sure.
Oh.
That influence is it's irresistible to me. It is. I mean, that's kind of obvious in like just how I carry myself. Like, I don't go looking for like shit, like to start shit, but I get in some shit quick just for the fuck of it. Like, what's up? What we gonna do? And that attitude is kind of fucked up, man. But I'm trying to change it. I'm not trying to change it. I am changing it, man, because I look at where I am today. I never would have thought in a million years that I'd be doing some shit like this. Yeah. Like, you don't understand. I sat in the candy shop in Sacramento, California with the homies, and they're making their music, and I stood in the back like, these stupid motherfuckers in there, they ain't gonna get no money. They ain't got no money in their goddamn pockets right now. They throwing it all in this goddamn studio, right? I'm like, I got this tool deal. I bet y'all go give me some money. And it's like, I'm gone, and I would leave and go get my money. But people look at it and say, man, I don't know how the fuck you do that. Like, it was a point in time where I'd bust motherfuckers' window open at the stoplight and snatch them out their car and go just to get 3 blocks down the road. Like, set that motherfucker on fire before I go. I mean, like, I was very destructive, man. I've set fires just to watch them burn. Like, I thought that shit was just made up. That's what pyros do. They'll set a fire and sit somewhere and video record it, right? Well, I didn't video record it, but I found myself sneaking and looking back like, oh shit, look at that. How big the fucking flames. You know what I mean? It's like, there's something wrong when this type of shit is going on, but I can recognize it though. I can recognize it now and I can recognize it before I act on it again. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to keep, I'm trying to break this cycle, right? So I'm gonna have to change. Like everything about me is gonna have to change to break the cycle. But guess what? I'm not gonna change everything about me ever. This is just me.
Now, was it the federal marshals that?
U.S. Marshals, yeah.
They're the ones who got you?
Yeah, no, they didn't get me. It was a combination of Pinal County Sheriff's Office, the DPS, the SWAT team.
Now, how'd they know where you were at? Did someone rat you out?
Man, watch this shit. So, at the conclusion of the shooting, and I knew that my firearm was done, right?
Oh, so you got into a high-speed chase?
Yeah, got in a high-speed chase, yeah. And my tech jammed up on me, man. I didn't get almost halfway through the clip. There were still 18 rounds left in the clip, so.
Oh, so when you pulled over, you just started spraying and then started driving
it's
again?
Like, the cop was following me, man, and I'm like, what would you do if he was at home, right? Dump on this fool, because he ain't turned on his lights. He ain't activated no stop, so why you sweating me, right? So I made a right-hand turn, boom, another right-hand turn, and then just pulled over, popped the clip in that motherfucker, and just hung out the window.
Oh, no.
Wild West, yeah.
Then how long did it take for the other cops to come get you after that?
Like 4 hours.
Oh, really?
I created enough of watch this. Once the gun jammed all the way up and I was done, like that was it. I was like, I gotta get out this fucking car, right? So I keep some stuff in my car that, you know, you probably shouldn't keep, but it's yeah. Anyway, I had some stuff in there that it can get real hot, you know, and I tried to set the shit on fire and it wouldn't go. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So here's the thing. Somebody told me in the midst of this situation, like, and every day that I wake and went to sleep with a pistol, I slept with a pistol under my pillow. I slept with the gauge right. I had two twin 40 cal Glocks, an AR-15 Colt and it was all stock and like the hard stock, right? So I chopped that shit off and it was all fucked up in there. But like, I had a stick of dynamite, right? I had a stick of dynamite that my brother had got from one of his friends or something, and it was real freaking dynamite. And I remade that mug, and I made the fuse about that big. And
were you trying to blow yourself up?
If the police were to come up in there, I was gonna knock as many of them down as I could because I wasn't going back to the pen. Like, people didn't understand. Like, when I can say that now, and it means something completely different than what it meant then. Mm-hmm. Like, one person knew exactly what my plan was, and she would say, "That shit ain't gonna work. That's your plan. That's not God's plan." And I would be like, shut the fuck up putting that jank shit on me, right? So I was like pushing away from what I knew what was right? And the darkness had me trapped in. I was locked in.
So you just got out of the car and started booking?
Yep. And I was going down a residential street. I was going down Osage, going eastbound on Osage, and I look up and there's a T. You have to turn left or you have to turn right, and there was a house in front of me. And I'm doing 70 miles an hour in a residential area, streets like this. Mm-hmm. And I look up and I was like, oh shit. And I slammed on my brakes and my car pitched sideways. Boom, hit the curb. Boom, and I slid across this people's yard. And I'm like, please don't go into the house, please don't go into the house. Like, the car stopped and I can kiss the fucking wall right there. It was like I was that close. And I backed up and I looked back down the street where the cops were and it was like, boo, 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 boo. I can count the tops of the fucking cars. I was like, it's like 6 of them. I'm like, fuck, plan B. And I punched it right back down the street, drove off these people's yard, and I punched it and hopped out the car and hit the first fence, boom, and I backpedaled. I went back towards the cops. You know what I'm saying? So when he got to that T, he stopped his car because he could see down the street. He could see my car. Yeah. Right? Now, I just fired at this fool a gang of times. He's not going to go over there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was that smart at least. And while he's waiting and he's calling in for every fucking body, I'm hitting fences. Boom, boom. I made a dumbass mistake and jumped in the back of a 67 Chevelle and had a tarp on it, right? In his backyard. And I get in there and I'm like, oh shit, it's hot in here. July 11th, 2005. Oh. Right? I've been drinking all day, smoking weed, right? And sweating. I'm sweating. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what are you doing in here? Right? I'm having this conversation with myself. I'm like, why are you in this car? And it's like, get the fuck out of this car. And I go to grab the door and it's skeleton on the inside. This is a project. This is somebody's project. And all the glass is in. And it didn't dawn on me till then. I looked around, I'm like, I'm sitting on bare metal, like there's no seat. And I'm like, how the fuck do I get out of here? The little vent window is open, and I tried to reach, and there's no way I'm reaching that door. Like the outside, there's a but on the inside there's not. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, damn it! And I'm just, boom! I just socked the shit out that window, and it cut my arm up. All this right here.
Oh man.
That shit was bad. So now I'm out there and I'm like, oh shit! I'm like, rip my shirt off, boom! And I tied it around my arm. And I'm just holding it real tight, and it was like, I didn't know what the fuck to do. I was panicking, and I will never panic in these type of situations. I will never panic. I was panicking.
Oh really?
Like too much shit was going on. I can already hear a helicopter, and there wasn't even a fucking helicopter there. You know what I mean? Like all the things that I knew that were gonna come were already there in my mind.
Yeah.
Like I'm already caught, and I'm like, fool, get the fuck out of here! And I climbed straight up this fucking tree that's sitting at the base of where this car was. I climb up this tree, it's butt ass naked. There's nothing on this fucking tree, no leaves or nothing. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing up here? And I jump out the tree, boom, and it was like, I'm in somebody's backyard, right? This house sits right here. When they cordoned off this fucking street, they started at this house. I stopped and hid myself in this house.
Oh really?
Right? So literally one house away from where they cordoned off that block, and SWAT came through there and searched every fucking thing. Well, unbeknownst to me, like, I didn't know that shit was happening. I passed out in that fucking little shed. I passed out. Heat stroke, that's what they said.
Oh wow.
Right? But let me tell you what happened. I'm in there and this dog is just barking. There's a door maybe about as big as this is wide, right? That goes up against what I'm in. It's like a little shed with a water heater. It's got some makeshift shelves, oil, you know, typical man stuff in a little shed, right? So you got a little bit of everything. And this dog is just barking and barking. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, I gotta mask my scent because the fucking dogs are coming. SWAT's coming. Everybody and their goddamn mama's coming, and I ain't got no pistol no more. So now what the fuck am I gonna do, right? I thought about cops. There was this episode, this dude was like, yeah, man, I poured all this stuff on me and I masked the scent because the dogs was barking and shit. And I was like, you goddamn right. So I pulled my Johnson out and I started pissing on everything, right? I'm thinking mask the scent. I'm sweating like a motherfucker. I'm dripping blood every fucking where.
Yeah.
Like that dog that's barking like 5 feet away from this door is barking loud. It's a dog about this big. But his voice is this motherfucking big. He won't shut up. I'm like, oh, just go snatch through the gate. Go snatch through the gate. I'm like, no, the door's fucked up. I can't just run in and shut the door. I gotta pick the door up, you know?
And close it.
And close it. So I'm sitting there like, let me get this. And I'm just grabbing shit. And I'm dumping it on me. And I'm like, oh shit, my arm, fool. I'm like, I just felt a burn I felt the burn on my arm. It felt like my arm was on fire. I don't know what the fuck it was that fell on my arm.
Was it gasoline or something?
It was
Kerosene?
something. It was something terrible. And I'm just steadily just grabbing shit. Boom, boom, boom. And it's like slow motion just hit me. Boom. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like stumbling in there, right? The heat, all them fucking chemicals, adrenaline, my goddamn arms hanging off my fucking arm. Like shit, this shit is, some of these, you can feel them. These motherfuckers were wide and they, like, it was crazy. And I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be loud. And I just fell back on all that shit.
Oh man.
And I went to sleep for a little while.
And then you woke up to guns in your face?
Nope.
You woke up in the hospital?
Nope. I woke up and I couldn't breathe. I'm like, God damn, it's hot in there. There's no air in this little building.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, it's dark outside. I can see it's dark because it's dark in this fucking shed. I picked the door up. I don't know what time it is. You know, I didn't have no watch on. My cell phone was dead as a motherfucker. I just played Pac-Man on it. That was it. The Nextel chirped. That was the last phone I had. And I was like, get outside, get some fresh air, right? And I pulled the door off and set it to the side. And I go to walk out. And I'm like, hell yeah. And I was like, oh shit, what's that? And I was like, boom, face plant right there. Fell out again. Yeah.
Damn.
It was the shock of that air on my lungs that had been starving for air. Yeah, it spun me for a loop. And I didn't know that like the DPS crime lab technicians were still out there with the fucking funny lights. Everything was taped off. There's cones from there all the way down the fucking street. That whole street, they shut down like 4 or 5 city blocks that in a like a grid. Like you couldn't come up in there. If you were in there, like if you shit on yourself or your house caught on fire, oh well, burn. You know, stank. You know, I knew I needed to get up because in my mind it was saying, "Get up, fool! Get up, get up, get up! You got to get up." And I was like, I knew I had to get up, but I was I was fucked up. And I go to get up, and I hear this chick yelling, he's back here, he's back here. And I was like, God damn, right? And then I get up, I'm kind of like, I'm on my knees, right? You know, when you just like bend down and get on your knees, but your upper body's kind of up. Well, I'm holding my upper body up, but I'm on my knees. So I'm like in a dog position, right? And this bright ass beam hit me from right here. Boom! I was like, what the fuck is that light? And this dude, he's like, don't fucking move or I'll shoot you. Da 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 da. And I'm like, you son of a bitch, you talking too much. I didn't say that, but I thought it. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just have to try it, motherfucker. I think you're full of shit. And I go to get up, and I feel this immense pressure on the top of my head right here. Boom! And when I come to again, I'd fallen on my hands like this. And that's how I got up, and my hands were just warm. And I couldn't see nothing. Like, blinking was like reversed. When I blinked, like, or when I opened my eyes, I didn't see nothing but the back of my eyes still. Like, it was just like, I'm like, the fuck? And the warm was still coming down, and I can slowly hear his voice coming back in the frame. Right? Like,
did he hit you with a beanbag or something?
No, he hit me with the fucking butt of his fucking service pistol.
Oh.
The dude that hit me, that chick, her dad is a retired Pinal County Sheriff's officer. So I was in his yard.
Oh.
So he's the one that drew down on me. See, nobody could move. So they were making everybody, like, if you wanted to smoke cigarettes, go in your backyard and smoke. Don't come out in the front.
Oh.
So she had come outside to smoke.
Oh, there you were.
And I was fucking incapacitated, man. Fucking heat stroke, man. Knocked me out of all things. Right? And I tried to get up, man. That fool hit me so motherfucking hard. If I had some shit in my body, then I probably would have shit on myself with that one. No, for real, because, like, I remember it felt like my head just kind of blew up on the inside right there, right?
Oh, concussion.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just instant black. I've been knocked out before, man, so it was that again, but times 10.
Oh.
You know? And I don't know how I came to, but I came to, and it was like, he's still yelling. And I'm like, well, fuck you, faggot. You gonna die today with me, right? And I go to get up again, and I made it. This leg was pulling up, and I could hear this. That's why I do this. That's why I do that. I heard this, and I looked, and it was like, bing, with this gauge. He hit me right here, boom, on the side of the face.
Oh, shit.
And I come to, and I don't even know how the fuck I'm standing, but they're holding me up against the fucking ambulance, right? And they're like, do you need medical attention? I can't see out of this eye, man, but I can see this motherfucker way the fuck out here, right? And I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker, bitch ass. I'm still talking shit, right? Barely. And they take me to Apache Junction Police Department, because where I engaged the police at, Meridian is right here. If you're west of Meridian, it's Maricopa County. If you're east of Meridian, it's Pinal County.
Oh, okay.
So the shots were fired on Pinal County Sheriff's side, so that's why I was in Florence. That's where they took me. But they take me to the fucking jailhouse, and they try to do this interview, right? I got all the paperwork on it. And they were saying that, like, it was an abuse of power because I was incapacitated. Like, they had video of it and everything. Like, my head is on the table like this. Like, I can't even pick my head up. And every answer, it was just like, like, there was nothing definitive, never. You know what I mean? And, like, they brought that up in court. And it was like, why would you, like, subject, you know, this person to that type of, you know, like, he can't even fucking talk. Look at all the, like, you can see the blood. Like, all this right here is just matted. Like, you can see it on my face. It didn't even look like it was a trip. And they take me right to Pinal County Sheriff's Office. And the lady, I remember, she laughed at them, right? Because they would get me out the fucking, the detective car, and they take me to the fucking back door. And I wish I knew what her name was, man, but she opened the door, and she was like, what the fuck? She was like, and like, she was straight like a hood, like Chicano chick, right? She was like, what the fuck? She's like, you can't bring that fool up in here like that. Like, you guys fucked him up. You gotta take him to the hospital, man. We can't, we're not accepting him. And boop, she slammed the door. I was like, hell yeah, thank you. Right? And I get to the fucking hospital in Casa Grande, or like going in that direction. We took the back roads. And I get there, and now I'm coming to my senses, and now it's just talking shit openly. They got me handcuffed, both of them. And it's like 5 cops in there. And I'm like, once you faggots call about 12 more people up in here to help you, little pussies. You know, like, I was in there talking shit. I was like, that motherfucker. What I had a Buick Park Avenue at 87, 3.7 liter front wheel drive, and I took and I rebuilt that fucking thing, and it was a monster. Like, I can get scratched on the dry street in the car that's front wheel drive. Like, it was police pursuit ready. All my cars are, every one of them. They will stand a police pursuit. I promise you.
But you're not gonna ever do that.
No, I'm not. Like, now what I'll do is, like, I'll go to Taco Bell and steal a couple of them trays, and then park my back tires up on them
Yeah.
and pull the e-brake and then just fucking swing around the parking lot until the things run holes in them and then your tires finally catch, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's what I do now, you know. No, you know what else I do? I got a bag full of fucking fireworks and I'll just randomly ride through the neighborhood and just, you know, and just let them go. But they're like the ones that are real extravagant, you know, a lot of lights and shit. Not the ones like, I'm not riding around throwing M80s in people's yards, you know. But yeah, man, fuck. I feel pretty fortunate that I can sit here, you know, and be like,
Now,
I made it through that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Now, was that the court case you made like history on, or?
Yeah, I made court history. Arizona Rules of Criminal Courts Procedure case law for double jeopardy.
No, why is that?
Or
how was that?
I went to trial for attempted. They reworded this shit so many different ways. I think I was indicted like 10 times on the same shit. They just kept rewording how I attempted to take a peace officer's life, right? Attempted homicide in the first degree, second degree homicide attempt of a peace officer. I'm like, you guys saying the same shit. Keep wasting paper, you fucking weirdos, right? So I ended up with, what were we talking about? I had another one of those moments. That's the weed.
Where your double jeopardy.
Oh, the double jeopardy. So it has something to do with the ballistics report, and I tied to that GSR swabs, fingerprint analysis, so on and so forth. Detective Eckert, he's my hero from Apache Junction Police Department, or at least he was. He got up on stand in front of the jury because we were on those second or third day into my trial, and he gets up there and he says, "Yeah, we submitted GSR swabs to DPS crime lab technicians. We did this, we did that, you know, all in reference to the firearm, you know, that trail that it has, right? The Intertech, yeah, the goddamn, that thing's beautiful, man. But I sat there and I listened to these dudes go back and forth, man, and I don't know, something took place. The Detective Eckert got up there and said something that didn't coincide with what the DPS crime lab technician got up there after him and said. He pretty much made mention that they sent things out to be tested that they never did.
Oh,
right?
really?
So they got lazy on their part. And the next person to go up after that detective for the Apache Junction Police Department, like he was the one that was supposed to be running the shit, right? Like they had it out for me. Like they'd have it out for anybody if you shoot at the fucking cops.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that's a terrorist act. That's what it is. That's what they classify it as, a terrorist act. Because they're like, if you'll do that, you'll do any fucking thing. And you know what? I don't know, we're all fucking people. Like, we think that that's really bad shit. It's really not bad shit. Like, worse shit has happened. I'm not trying to classify anything as, like, or justify it, but anyway. They fuck up, man, and the judge declares a mistrial right then and there. And my lawyer's, he's all fucking happy. Robin Puchek, that's his name. Pro bono attorney, and he fought like I was paying him millions of dollars. Like, kudos to that dude right there, like. And I used to get so pissed off at him. He'd be like, "Yeah, buddy, we got it. I'm like, we got a goddamn thing. What the fuck you talking about? These motherfuckers just told me I got 20 years to do in a goddamn penitentiary." And he was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I got all this case law about double jeopardy." I'm like, "What the fuck is double jeopardy?" Like I didn't know shit.
Yeah. So did you get convicted?
I got convicted. Yeah.
And then and
then we went back 2 weeks later. That's another violation. They're supposed to give you like 28 days. They gave me 2 weeks.
To retry?
To retry, yeah. So 2 weeks later, went through that whole process again. Drug my mama back through all that whole shit again.
So how much time did you end up getting for shooting at the police?
What I did in the county fighting my case, 16 months.
Really?
Yep, for thumping at them Elroys.
But then, why were you on, that was when you were on the run, so then you had to go to trial for the kidnapping and all that?
Yeah,
and that's what you got the 15 years for?
And like, that turned out really bad. That turned out really bad because I filed for a fast and speedy trial while I was concluding the trial that I was in. I was hoping that it would like put them in a pinch to just give me a plea real fast because it's a time constraint, right? Yeah. What it did was it shot me, you know, in my own foot, but from the bottom up, you know, so I got some splatter on my face and shit. It put them in a position where they can say, well, you know what, we don't have to give you what the fuck you want. So, and we just found out that you just lost shooting at the police in Pinal County. So their first plea was 18 years.
Oh.
Ran consecutive, bow-legged. So I had to do
15 years.
The 15 and then do the 20 afterwards.
Oh.
Yeah. And they came with 18, and they give me the main lady from the public defender's office. Like, I got the main one, like the boss. Her name was on the card. She wasn't shit neither, though, you know?
Oh.
And she was like, she says, wait, after this, after I'm almost done, wait. She says, look, they're not gonna give you anything better than this. And I was like, whose team are you on, right?
I know, right?
And I was like, and she kept bringing up this case in Pinal County. I'm like, why are you bringing that up? And she's like, because it's fresh and everybody knows about it. I was like, God damn it. So I'm losing all the way across the board. And she was like, yeah, 18 years. I'm like, that's damn near 40 years. Like, if I could get to you right now, I'd rip your fucking eyeballs out. Like,
so that you would
like,
have been 60 years old when you got out of prison?
I would have, my release date was 2041. So it went from 2041 to 2019.
Damn.
Put it like this. At that time, my kids that were little, 5 years old and 4 months old, this how I put it in my own words. I said, my kids will be grown and have kids before I can get out this motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's a walk down the road that's long as a motherfucker, man. You know, but I just, one day at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Woo.
Ryan's gonna get on this next set.
Hell yeah. They can get on.
That was 56 minutes.
Are you serious?
I'm gonna give mine to Ryan.
I need to smoke.
Yeah, that's what.
That's crazy, man. Really, that long?